All right, hey y'all. I am actually making sure I'm live like I wanted to be. So I am currently live with y'all, and this is photography mistakes on Thursdays. Bear with me because today has been a little sluggish day. The last few days have been active as hell, so I wanted to make sure that I still showed up for y'all. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. Let me make sure that I am also showing up properly on my YouTube channel. All right, hit that up. Let's see. Is it live? Is it showing up live? I think it is. Let's see. I'm just wanting to make sure because right now I'm looking at. Okay, yeah, it's live. Now make sure the audio sounds good. Make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. All right. Welcome to Photography Mistakes. I am your host. I am Jay. I am a photographer, videographer, marketing strategist. Um, and right now, my biggest thing that I want to work with you guys is basically how I edit. And again, I'm gonna say bear with me just because of the fact that there's some things I'm still tweaking when it comes to just streaming, like really understanding how to stream. So apparently, I gotta buy a certain type of cords that can make this more smoother for me, probably reduce and remove lag. But ultimately, I still make sure I'm showing up here, so I make sure I do that. Hopefully, next week it'll be a better situation when it comes to that. But ultimately, when you're watching this on your end, let me know how it looks like on your end. This is before I even edit this, right? So a couple things that I could actually go through and edit. For one, I can go ahead and edit. Um, I can start editing a few things. I can start editing a compilation of video that I wanted to do for tomorrow. I was gonna start it today, probably finish it tomorrow, and then post it on my Instagram feed. It is actually going to be a set of confessionals that I had filmed when I was doing another event. So I could actually go ahead and start that, or I can edit a dance video. But I know I did that the last time I did an edit was a dance video. Um, or I can show you guys how I go through and use CapCut altogether when it comes to editing in general. So there's a few things that I can do. Um, I don't have any pictures this time around that I would like to edit, but I do have a showcase that I will be capturing that is going to be this Saturday, and I also am going to be taking pictures at an event the solid Saturday after that. So I may have some options that way. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and see if I can select one and get through it with you guys, and then see how that looks like while also connecting my phone for that visual. Okay. So I'm gonna decide which one makes the most sense. I think last time I used CapCut on my computer, so this time I'm see if I can use CapCut on my phone, so that way you guys can really get that experience. Let's see here. How did I have to do that last time? I think last time it was a remote live feed. Do I need to change the name of that? All right, so let's change the name of that. All right, sorry, with that right now, what I'm doing is I am going to open up my Air server feed. And I'm gonna rename it actually. So I'm gonna rename that air server window. All right, I'm gonna have you guys take a look at it so you guys see what I'm doing. Actually, you can see that, but it is a little irritating. All right, because right here at the bottom is what I'm actually adjusting. And what I'll do is what I want to show up is this screen right here. And let's see. And what I can do is open this up right here. And then it shows up that way, which is ultimately what I want. Okay. So now I want to adjust it in a second. Give me a second. Okay. So there's the adjustment. All right. And then I am going to connect to my phone. And I am going to try my hardest to not to have y'all look at all types of stuff on my phone. My phone has some shit on there that is not for every platform. So I'm going to screen mirror my phone. I really don't have any idea on what I'm going to edit, but we're going to figure it out. So I hit screen mirroring, wait for that to show up. Hopefully it shows up. Sometimes it does this, weirdly enough. Okay. That's apparently not doing what it needs to do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It should be irritating. My Bluetooth is on. Let's try switching off the mode. Alright, so instead of me waiting on that, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and open up something else. Alright, so I'm going to open up. Let's see, what else do I have here? I can go to here. Go to the latest things that I've done. And in actuality, I can actually open up my Lightroom. I'm gonna log into that right quick. Hold on. Lightroom. I think it's just Lightroom. Okay. Go ahead and sign in. Let me make sure. Typically, I use my Lightroom on my phone. That's the part that's like kind of is throwing me off. Like, why is it not working right now? Okay, looks like it's finally coming up. Let's see. Yo, and here's this thing that it's doing. All right, so I guess I had to turn it on my phone first. So now I'm gonna try it again. All right, so next time we're in there. Okay, there we go. So you guys are probably seeing my screen now, right? And you see, of course, this is a performer that I had to edit their picture, and it was an event that I did a while back, like May, June-ish type shit. So we have her picture up here. But what I'm gonna do is actually see if I can find the pictures that I want y'all to see. So give me 1 second. So I had did my own shoot of myself, obviously, and why is it just going up that way? Either way, that's fine. And so you'll see all these pictures here. This is of me. That's what I did last week. So if I were to want to go through and say, for example, edit some of these, edit one of these or two of these, whichever, I could even do them through my phone. And I think in this case, I'm going to show you how I do it through my phone. So I am going to download one from here. So let's say, for example, I just select any of these, really. But I like the ones from the beginning, I believe. Because if I were to go to the ones that I really liked, let's say, for example, this one. Okay, so this would be, what is that, 11? Because we're on the 20th, so this would be 11, 13. This would be photography. Alright, so now I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to show you guys the picture that I'm going to work on. This is right here. Okay, so this is the one I'm ideally wanting to go and try to edit. And I'm going to try to do this on my phone. Okay, and this is file 003. Now, keep in mind, you got your CR2, which is your raw file, and you got your JPEG. All right. So I'm going to show you what the CR2 looks like. And so this is your CR2 file. Okay. This is what they mean when they say this. Don't send your raw files. Okay. Mostly because it's going to give you details of your picture, but it's gonna give it to you before it's like edited, before the camera does its own thing. So this is basically as raw as possible as your image can get, right? Now keep in mind, because of course it is this file, I can even read off the details of this particular file. So if I wanted to, I could actually go here and go to my picture, and it will give me information about this picture. And if I go here at the bottom and select the I button, let's see if you guys can see that. If I select the I button, it will actually show here. It'll say my device information, right? And what that'll give me is, I don't know if it's gonna zoom in for me if I wanted it to. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But ultimately, it will give me this information right here, right? So it'll say the type of camera that I'm using, which is my T7, the lens that I use, my 35 millimeter, the aperture, which is f stop 3.5. Okay, so that's not all the way open. Because open, if I have it all the way open, it'd be like the smallest number. If I had it all the way closed, it'd be the largest number, which ultimately would mean the largest. I can have more stuff in focus. If I have it really small, which would be like 1.8, it'd be more blur. And that'd be like a background blur, but it'll start coming in towards the middle, right? Or towards your focus point. Okay? And then, of course, I got my shutter speed at 1/60, which is pretty slow. So this would be a situation where it's a good thing that I had a tripod. And then I also had my ISO at 6400. Now, I'm gonna show you the raw again, okay, just so you guys can see what is happening. So as you can see, if I just show you the raw itself, okay. Now this is with the details added onto it, but it's ultimately not that. All right. So let me go back, and then I'm gonna go back. All right. So it didn't do it that time. So let me save it. I'm gonna save that one, and I'm probably not gonna save the other one, but keep in mind when you saw it before, it didn't have it. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to the picture itself so you guys can see, because it's probably going to give it to me. So this is how it looks like now, right? As far as my picture itself. Now what I'm trying to do is I am going to go to my Lightroom. Okay. This is something. So this is where we at. Okay. So this is the Lightroom. All right. So now, as you can see, with this picture being here, how I'm gonna hold my phone just to hold the screen, right? Just so you guys can see what it changes. So I'm going to actually get rid of this bottom screen. I'm gonna move this over like this. All right. And then this one will probably move over so you guys can see more of what I got going on. Okay. So, now, you see this screen. If I hold the picture, it'll have a before. But the before really doesn't really change a whole lot. But if you saw what I had before, that's really what the raw would look like. Now, the interesting part is why I'm trying to figure out why sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. But ultimately, this is what it would look like when I don't have any edits, haven't done any edits to it, right? But being that it's showing like this to us now, we're gonna go ahead and update it and edit it anyway. Doesn't need a whole lot to be done to it, but I'm gonna edit it anyway. All right, so what I'm gonna do, if I can get that picture to show up one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna try it one more time, see if it's gonna show it to you guys, because if you can see, even here, all right, some of these shots look light, and then the ones in the middle look dark, right? Because that's how I had the lighting. So if I click on it again, it still does it, which is fine. Okay, and this is the one before, just to give you guys that idea, right? And I can screenshot that just so I can remember and hold that as a previous idea, right? Same thing with this. Then of course it happens again. So it could be a situation to where the camera itself is like regenerating the colors so that way it can go back. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the exact idea of what is actually happening, but I can do the research. So it's a lot of times, especially with me doing these lives, a lot of times what I'm also looking at and paying attention to is what I don't understand. So that way I can go back and find a way to understand it. Keep in mind, I don't necessarily need to screenshot it because once I save it, it's going to be saved that same way. But it still goes in that place of just so that way for purposes of just showing what it looks like beforehand, I can have that multiple selection, right? So I will go ahead and save this one too. Okay, and then I keep wanting to try that one. And then this is the one that I did edit. Okay, and you can see how the details are coming in with that, right? So now we're going to go back to the Lightroom. So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring this brightness up. Okay, so you guys can really see that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and edit the photo. Keep in mind, again, it doesn't need a whole lot of edits to be done to it because I personally love it. But I can give you an idea of what I personally would do to edit the picture. So for one, I would definitely try to give it some type of a grunge look. For example, I can go into my effects and I can bring my texture up, right? And I can kind of add in a little more detail. Even my clarity, I can bring up just a little bit, but not too much. And then if I want to, I can also bring up my dehaze a little bit as well, right? And I usually like to kind of play around with some of these. I might decide to drag the dehaze all the way to the end, see if it makes a difference, and then bring it all the way to the front, right? Just to test it out. And then sometimes I might switch out and go the opposite way just so I can see what that would look like, right? So might bring the clarity maybe the other way around, right? So I'll bring them up just a tad bit, all right? And then I'll leave it as that. Then what I'll do is I may say, okay, well, I like it, but I also feel like it needs to be something else needs to be done to it, okay? So what I could do in this case, and also keep in mind, if you zoom in on it, you can also tell by some of the grain that's inside of the picture, right? Keep in mind, even with it looking zoomed in, it looks nice. So if I wanted to, I could keep it in this crop, or I can crop it in. So if I decided to, just for the sake of this clip, this actual video, I'm gonna go ahead and crop it in. And keep in mind, I've been looking for a new profile picture to put on my Facebook, so this might be it. So I'm gonna crop that in, and keep in mind, this is what it is now. And of course, they got a little of a before, but the before looked better than what it is now, and I'm gonna show you why. So this is it zoomed in. This is what it was before. You see, what it was before doesn't have as much grain, whereas this one has a little more grain. So what I'll do is I'll zoom out, and then I'm gonna go back here, and I'm going to texture and bring that down some. Then we're gonna look at that, see what that does. Okay. See, it adjusted just a little bit. Then what I'll do is I'll go to detail. Okay. I probably won't have as much sharpening. Just to smooth it out a little bit. The noise, I'll definitely do noise reduction just a tad. Because if I go all the way over, it's going to make it look really smooth. And you see that? It looks almost fake. So I'll probably bring it up to 15, maybe. Okay, and then I'll hold it, see the before, and then the after, right? And then I might test it out again a little bit. So I might add a little more of a noise reduction just to smooth it out. Okay, and then now, if I bring it out, it looks a little better, just a little better, okay? Now, what I want to do is I am probably going to mess around with the lighting, right? The exposure, the contrast, and all that. Keep in mind, this is just a way that I normally edit. Now, because I'm not a master at editing just yet, I do go through a few steps with mine. So I don't have a set way of how I do it, but I am letting you know that this is ways on how you can edit with your phone, right? So apparently this is what this idea would be for tonight. How to edit with your phone. Okay, so now what I would do in this case is, since I'm here, if I want to, I can increase the exposure. If I want to, and if I wanted to, I could do more. Keep in mind, this is probably how the raw was looking like. So I'll leave that a little bit, like an increased exposure, just a tad. Then from here, I pay attention to the highlights and the shadows too, right? So I might start with the shadows first, because if you bring the shadows up, then of course you'll see more of the shadows. If you bring the shadows down, ideally, the shadows should reduce, right? Now, I am seeing also a delay in how it's responding to that, but nonetheless, if I hold on to the screen, it'll give me the before and after. Okay, so this is now my current, and this is of course before. All right, and of course I could zoom in and look at the same thing. For example, I could do that's before. You can see more of my blemishes, and then there's after, or it's not as much. Right. So there's that, and I might want to crop it a little bit more actually, and I might do it like this. All right, so now it looks like this, okay? And then what I'll do from that point is now I can kind of mess around with some of the other things. I don't have to touch everything, but some things I can just test to see what it looks like before I can decide what I want to do. Again, I am still working out my own perfected way of how I edit, hence why I'm doing these lives. Just to remind you guys, I do these lives just so that way I can ultimately get better with both obviously photography, which I did improve in the last month or two actually, and videography, which I've been doing pretty good anyway, but I always want to do more because there's more things to always to learn. Then of course now we're coming out to the editing because I know that's something I really want to get better with when it comes to editing photos. When it comes to videos, it's not that hard, but when it comes to editing photos, so I'm gonna finish editing this picture, and then I'm gonna go through and start editing a video, just so you guys can see how I also do that using my phone and CapCut. All right, it's pretty simple, and even with a little bit of InShot. So I don't want you guys, so you guys can have those options. Okay, so now what I'll do, let me see here. Okay, so now again I could try the blacks, like I could try bringing that up, and it does a little bit, not a whole lot. If I bring it down, of course, it'll make the lighting go down. Keep in mind, there's a difference, all right? Because you might see, okay, if I bring the blacks down, it makes it it makes it blend in a little more into the background, which is it gives it a nice effect. But I don't want it to be too dark. I don't want me to be too dark. But keep in mind, I could also have done the same thing when it comes to exposure, but it's not the same thing because exposure is underexposing the whole image. So it's just making the whole image darker. Whereas if I were to, let me see, bring this up a little bit. If I were to bring my blacks down, it'll just make the black in the picture be darker, right? Versus, of course, if I bring it up, it'll bring it up. So I might want it to be a little darker, right? And keep in mind, I'm learning that this is an effect that I kind of do like, so I will more than likely keep that, okay? And then for the most part, I keep everything else. Contrast you can kind of play with, but I don't touch it too much for real. I mean, this one's a test, so I'll zoom in to see what it does. Hold, go off, hold, go off. And I actually like it just the way that it is. Now, I will give you guys something else that I sometimes use, but it's not always necessary. Because it all depends on what you're actually editing. So right here towards the bottom, right? So you'll see right here we got this is I guess an eraser or it's an eraser, and then right next to on the left side is this other bar, and it's for your masking, or it's the other icon. It's for your masking. I personally like masking because I can adjust certain parts of the picture without it adjusting the whole thing, right? So you'll see what I'm talking about. So if you go to masking, hit the plus sign, you can actually hit the subject, which would be me, obviously in this case. So I can actually just select me as a whole, right? And I can adjust that if I wanted to, right? I can go here and I can go to exposure again, and I can bring that down. And it's only gonna just darken me up. See, my background doesn't get lighter if I decide to go up. So I don't really want to adjust that at all. So I'm gonna discard the changes. So I'm gonna leave me alone, but I am gonna mask. I'm gonna see if I can mask. Just am add a linear gradient, and see what you guys. Just so you guys can see what it does. So what I'll do here is I will hold that and bring this down. All right. And keep in mind when I took the picture, the light was facing my left side. So if I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the picture, they're facing my left side, right? So what I can do here is I can actually go to my lighting, have that lit up on that side. So anything that's red, showing up red, is where I'm actually going to be doing the editing on. I can actually go ahead and bring that exposure down if I wanted to. If I'm like, yo, it's too bright on that side, let me bring that down, right? And it'll actually do so, right? If I'm like, yo, I want to bring it up some more, and I can bring that up, and it can show up this way as well. And it's just going to be on that particular side. And then same thing with everything else. If I want to do the blacks, of course, bring that down, it'll do that too. And then, of course, bring that. So it'll just adjust that one particular side. For this one, I don't think I really want to do anything different with it. I mean, the exposure would be cool, but it's not required. So I just did a little bit of underexposing. And then, of course, you got your color, which you can add some color to it. So, for example, if I wanted to, I can just move this bar where it says hue. I can move that over, and it'll give me different colors on the other side of my face if I wanted to, right? And I say just to play around with it, I can actually grab this right here, the blue in the middle, and I can even turn this little hanging dot on the bottom of it to the side. That way it gives me a split effect on my face. And then if I hit the check mark, this is what it will do. Right? So if I decided I wanted to kind of give that effect, then I really could. Right? Again, it all depends if you something that you want to do. I personally don't think it's what I want it to look like. I kind of want to keep it as original as possible. So what we'll do is, and if I wanted to kind of play around with it, I could. I could make it all the way green. I could make it reddish, yellow, blue, all of that stuff, right? So what I'll probably do is I'll put it back towards the middle. So you'll see at the top the numbers are changing. So I'll move that back to 0 as much as I can. So it's at 0 now. And then now what I could do is I could, of course, adjust the temp, so that could be more like this, which is not bad, or I can have it lowered. The temp I might bring up a little bit, just a tad. The tint I probably ain't gonna mess with too much, because you guys can see what that does ultimately. And then of course you got your effects here, same thing that goes here. I'm not gonna touch that because I already did that on the other end. Just to avoid certain things. Sharpness I may bring up a little bit, but I don't want that to also make me look too grainy. So what I'll do here is I will zoom in, and then I'll see this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now, right? And of course if I adjust the sharpness, for example, we'll see what that looks like now. If it doesn't do anything, then of course I can play around with the noise. Then I bring more noise, and so this is going to be to like a noise remover, noise reduction. So if you see, I brought the noise all the way down, and it brought me more noise. But if I bring it up, it'll kind of smooth it out some more. But again, you have to be careful with this because it could make you look very cartoonish or very blurry. All right, so I'll just leave it a little bit. I'll just add up a little bit. All right, and then I will go ahead and hit the check mark. You can play with the optics too if you decided to, but I usually don't mess with that until I really learn how to understand it. Okay, so then for me, this will be my picture. Again, I don't want to do anything extra to it, but I'll do this is what I would like to see, and of course I'll click on it right quick. So this would be the before, this is the after, before and after. All right, and ideally if I played around with it more, I might do different things to it, and I haven't created my own presets yet, but I'm working on that. So I would say next year, 2026. I'll probably have my own set of presets because by that time I have a look that I really want to go for. But it usually starts off with the lighting that I have in my images, just so that way I can already set the tone and then go from there, right? So that's the idea. All right, so now what I will do is I will go ahead and save the device. So it's going to save it from the CR2 file that it says it to a JPEG. You can also do this too. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. You can also hit the button at the top, like you're gonna save it. It's like a share button at the top, and you can hit export as. And once you do that, you can do export as JPEG. Okay. Once you do JPEG, it's gonna give you options to where you can include a watermark. All right. I include watermarks for some of the ones that I want to share that I have my customers in it or my clients. So I always hit the customize under watermark, just so I can move this actual watermark itself. So you'll see if I move my horizontal offset, it'll move my logo back and forth. Vertical offset, it'll bring it up and down, right? And then I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like as well. So I brought it up so you can kind of be closer to a bigger space so they can be seen better. And I'm also gonna bring it in as well. So horizontal offset is left and right. Vertical offset is up and down. That way I can, obviously horizontal, vertical. That way I can really see what I want it to look like. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back. And then I'm going to hit my check mark. Then it's going to give me the option to save it or to send it to somebody. So I'm going to save image. And then it's going to say saved. All right, so now we're going to show you guys that particular image. All right, so this is that shot right there, right? Now, if you guys can see that, you see the logo right here on the side, right? So that would be my logo and of course my picture. Then again, I could use this if I wanted to. And this is the picture without the logo. Then these are the pictures that I took beforehand, right? And as you can see, I'm looking towards the light, so hence that's why it has that particular glow on my face, which is nice because it does get the catch light in that scenario. So this might also is another option I could use if I decided to have a different image for my profile picture, for example. Then this, of course, would be the CR2, the raw file, and so on and so forth. And that's the one beforehand, right? But even this wasn't bad. I just wanted to edit and to play around with some stuff to see what that looked like. All right, so that gives you guys an idea on that. So that is ultimately how I edit my pictures on my phone using Lightroom. So now I'm going to edit a video using CapCut. So let's see if I can find a video that I want to use. Okay. There's a couple things that I actually can show you guys. I am really trying to think. Because there is, because I'm not going to edit my last live. Not right here. It's going to be too much. I'd have to make a separate video. So let me see. Because I got a lot of videos here already, but I want to make sure that... Let's see. It's funny, I got so much stuff in here, but it's like I still don't always know what I want to edit. So I got something in here that I can edit real quick. You know what? Let me go ahead and edit my live from last week. So this is what I'll do instead, right? Instead, I am going to go to my YouTube channel. And I'm going to show you guys something that I do from time to time. All right. All right, so this is how I edit my videos. Okay, so I'm here to my channel. This is how I edit my videos for future viewing, right? So if I'm here, I am actually going to go to... All right. If I'm here, I'm actually going to go to, let's see, my last live. In this case... Okay, I had to look at the last live. It was telling me that 6 days ago. I'm like, that's not what I did. Okay, that's fine because I know what I'm doing now. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'll go to my last live, which was here, streamed 6 days ago. Okay. All right. So as you guys can see, this is the video that I recorded last week, right? But what I want to be able to do, and I'm trying to see if it's gonna allow me to do it while I'm here, or if I need to switch off. Okay. And so, for example, I want people to see what I was ultimately doing. So I will show you guys an idea, right? So if I'm here, typically I would scroll down here and I would screen record. And again, I don't know what's going to do it here because I've never done this way. Screen record this clip. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's going to do it. because I'm air serving. Let's see. It doesn't make it. Could I do it if I do it on the laptop? 'Cause I'm gonna be like 10 minutes late. So let me see. Let me try it anyway. All right. These things always happen, but I feel like I got it on here already. Let's go to check my drives right quick. Facebook Lives. That ain't it. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Photography live mistakes. So here we go. So that's that, and then so I already got that downloaded. So what's the other one that I need? Did I download the one from here? I won't be talking to myself. I don't think I did download this one. But is this Facebook Live? Or is this one of my YouTube Live? Okay, this one's Facebook. Alright. So what I'm going to do here now, I got the Facebook one, so let me see, make sure. Because I may have to just download the YouTube one, so that's going to have to go to YouTube Studio. If you guys have never done this before, I'm going to show you guys right now. Alright, so here it is real quick. So I'm going to go to my dashboard. I'm pretty sure you guys already know how to do this, but in case you don't, this is a way to do that. You go to your dashboard, or you're in YouTube, go to YouTube Studio, and what I want to do is I want to download my last live, right, so I can edit. So I'll go here, and of course this is the last live right here, and then I'll just hit download. Like, it doesn't really take a whole lot for me to have to do that, but just so you guys can see what that looks like. Alright, then now I want you to make sure it goes into the right folder for me. So here, that's going to be here. Then I'll say photography live mistakes. I'm not going to use the whole thing. Actually, I could do that. YouTube. Oh, show for mixes. Okay. And then I'll hit save. Alright, so we're going to let that do what it do, and I'm going to open both of them up. I said I wasn't going to edit this, but now I got to edit it, because it just makes more sense that way for me. Alright, so now I'm going to let that do what it's going to do. And then this is what I have right now I'm going to work on as far as the Facebook video. So this is why I do both of mine like this. Okay, so keep in mind, I look like and feel like I'm all over the place, but it goes back to me just wanting to make sure that I am doing this, because it's been so much that's been going on, but I still want to ensure that I am following through with what I said I was going to do when it comes to editing, going live, and being able to talk to you guys and show you guys different methods. Okay, so this is the Facebook Live version. Okay, this is the Facebook Live version. All right, and I am going to try to combine these two so you guys can see what they look like. And I'm going to edit them using CapCut. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Stop that real quick. This one is still downloading, so we're going to give it some time. Alright, then I am going to go on here, myself. All right, and then we'll probably, you guys can see this. So, because what I was gonna do is I was gonna go ahead and snip out some parts on the actual phone itself, just so that way I can have the widescreen version. All right. So while this is downloading, I am going to try to explain that. And this is gonna take a second because I should have done this before. Which I'm like, why did I not do this before? Did I do this before? Cause what is the time on it? I don't know. Okay, this is gonna take a second. All right, I heavily apologize just because of the fact that this is taking longer than I expected it to. Just with waiting for the download itself, like that part is kind of blowing me a little bit. It says 2 minutes left. Like, 2 minutes might turn into something else. Alright, so we'll keep an eye. If 2 minutes go by and it doesn't come up again, then I'm just gonna stop it. Okay. And if all else fails, I'll just have to do a recording of the edit that I do and then just re-upload a different video so you guys can see that. Because we're getting down to time. We're getting down to time, and it's been one of those days. Okay. This just gives you an idea of what typically we go through when it comes to making sure that I'm presenting content to you guys as much as I can. All right. So when it comes to editing for me and how I edit and why I edit, it's a number of things. For one is absolutely being able to show you guys different things of what I do and a different type of way to show it. Some things, because they're just BTSs, it's just gonna be a BTS. It's gonna be a behind the scenes. It's just gonna be me filming myself, filming. Let me see, because I can actually show you guys that on here. So I can go through my Instagram. All right. Well, good for him. All right, so here is my page. Okay, so we'll just look at that right quick. So if you go to my page, obviously you'll see that I have different things as to what I have posted on here. So this is the latest video that I posted on here, which is showing my settings for filming poll shows, and I actually put the settings on there. And all it is a snippet of me going, or just me filming BTS. My brain is all over the place. This will not happen next week. I promise you. All right, I will have definitely way more structure when it comes to that. So that just shows, of course, what I did BTS wise, and that's just a snippet of me filming myself filming. Okay, and the show wasn't even, nobody was even actually performing. I just happened to be behind waiting for the next performer, and I just did that real quick. All right, and then the next thing I have here is an actual show that I did, but I have an edited snippet of it. And the beauty of this edited snippet is I was able to use a template from CapCut. Now, I love being able to do that just because sometimes I can create my own edits. And I'm going to show you the edit that I actually created for the company itself, and this is the edit for myself. So I'm going to show you guys real quick what that looks like. So let me put it on her page. So this is their edit that I created, right? If you guys just see that, and it just gives you guys a step by step of what it's like to go to the event, step into the building. You're coming in, you're seeing the different aspects of that. They got the DJ, the music comes in. Now you're seeing different performers. I got different effects that's taking place, and I'm switching out from performer to performer, right? So this is just that, and because that's the edit in its entirety. This is also through CapCut. Usually I would normally use InShot, but lately I've been using CapCut just because it's been easier for me. So this is what a finalized edit would look like from me if you are trying to book me for an event, for example, right? Some of them will have a lot of effects. Some of them may not have any effects at all. But it all depends on what the mood is like or what the mode is like. For this particular event, it was a cosmic seduction pole showcase, meaning that it was really just for the purpose of showing them in this. It was a Halloween showcase. Ultimately, that's really what it was. It was a Halloween showcase, so you could see different costumes. That's why I got certain types of effects. Just so that way you can feel what it was like to be in the room, right? So this is ideally what I would consider that to be the final edit. Now, the one that I created, this is the one that's actually on my page on Instagram. That's just a taste, so you guys can get that, because that was like maybe 30 seconds long, right? So 20 seconds long, 26 seconds long. So it already wasn't no long clip. So that gives you an idea, because the edited clip was like a minute and a half, right? And then people's edits in the middle, like the performers, their individual videos were about a minute, right? That was edited also. And then of course I got my promo edit. This is what this was to be, a promo edit. So I edit for multiple reasons. Like these are just some of the few of the reasons, right? So I can go down even some more and show you guys something. So this one is actually my full live that I've done this Monday. So I usually go live on Instagram every Monday, just so that way I can talk about marketing tips, marketing ideas, and those types of things. Now, I do have marketing talks I have with y'all that's going to be next week on Thursdays. So it makes me wonder, should I continue doing them on Thursdays on YouTube, since I'm already doing them on Mondays anyway? Because it'll be like I'm having two marketing conversations in 1 week. So I'm still working out what makes the most sense, how often for me to come on here. But I feel like I may have to only keep it maybe a 3 week thing. Maybe for 3 weeks out the month. I'll do photos, videos, and editing. And then maybe the last week, I'll just so I can make sure I'm coming on. So the Thursdays after editing. So maybe next week I'll just go straight. I'll just do another photo. Just keep doing photography, because I feel like I really want to keep doing photography. Videography I may do if I'm like really doing something specific, just so that way I can have something else to kind of relay on, right? Because I could record myself, which I actually could still do, by the way, could still record myself. So that could be another option. I may toss that up, right? Make it a toss up. So I say, hey, I done did photography, videography, and editing. Maybe next week we'll do photography, or next week we'll just do videography, and I'll go over certain types of shots. Like there is a video that I want to create where it's gonna have different types of shots, which would be close up, wide shot, all those different types of angles. So I may do that for a cinematic type of feel, possibly, right? So that's of course my live. I didn't really have to touch anything. I just let it be where it's at. Then of course the next clip. This is a YouTube video that I actually had on here already, and it's actually on my page. And what I did was I just trimmed it down so it can fit in the size of a reel, and that ratio, which would be this place a 9:16, right? Because it's 9 and then by 16, or 16 by 9. I think a 9:16 is like a TikTok size, but it's also the size of a reel. And this way you can get that clip, and the footage came out looking really nice and crisp. And all I had to do was just cut it to a great part. And then I clipped it out even more using CapCut, so that it can kind of just jump cut to the next thing versus having to wait spaces in between, all of that, just so that it made sense. So while you are watching me, you aren't gonna just be kind of getting these and it'll just get you to the point. That's really what that was. So I did the edit for that. which also led to me giving my call to action, which basically says watch the full video on YouTube. Okay, because that's a teaser in this case. So I got the teaser, the BTS, the promo edit, the full edit, the promo performer edits. Like I have many different reasons as to why I create edits or why I edit my videos as a videographer for my business and for my clients. Okay, so then we can go off of that as well. And as you guys know, just creating content in general. All right, so I can use InShot for this or CapCut. Actually, doesn't matter. I think for these though, if I'm like just doing regular cuts here and there, that might be like an InShot situation. So I still use both. But it all depends, of course, on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to do something on a professional sense, I will go ahead and use CapCut because of the exporting seems like it's a little more crisp. Whereas if I stay on InShot, it's not bad, but it's like something about it that kind of like it makes me feel like I trust CapCut more to keep it as crisp as possible. I don't know, but as you can see, that's definitely it's a content situation, and I was able to create that way as far as editing. So that's just for creating content. And then, of course, other things. Another BTS video. This is, of course, was showing me doing my lives from 2 weeks ago. So last week was videography. The week before that was photography. And I just did a snippet of what I do when it comes to this, ultimately. And I showed the behind the scenes and then the actual images that came with it, right? So that way people can really be in tune with that, okay? So this gives you guys an idea, a full-ass idea. Like, a lot of different things are here you can utilize. Of course, that's their showcase picture video. This is a promo clip or teaser. I'm still trying to decide how I want to showcase this as well, so that way it's not so much. Because right now it feels like it's congested. It's congested. So I'll figure it out. Because something about me right now, just doing straight videos, is like bothersome a little bit. Because I don't want to see that black line across it. But at this point, I feel like I need to go ahead and let that be what it's going to be. So that way I'm not having to worry about the space in the middle, because I know if I just post it as is and it's a widescreen clip, then it should be fine. That says 16.9. That's right, 16.9. It's gonna show without the up the top and bottoms, right? Okay, so this is ideally what all of that would be, right? So, okay, because here this is so this is how I would show. This is what I'm referring to, right? So that's ultimately what I would need for it to show up as, just so it can make sense. But since these are my visuals, I leave those as is. But now it's making me wonder: should I still show my BTS's? Like if I were to show a snippet of me doing this, should I leave the top and bottom as is and just add something to it so they know what this is, or do I make it look like my visuals? But in my mind, I need to make it separate. So there's a lot of thought process that I go through when it comes to creating in general. And I'm going to reshare this because, yeah. So that is a Reels package that I definitely want to promote. And with that being stated, I have my boudoir shoot that is actually coming up, and these are some boudoir examples, right, of a shoot that I got coming up that I am going to do on the 30th. November 30th is going to be my boudoir shoot, and I am going to have it at an executive suite at the Hyatt Regency that's going to be here in Atlanta. Here's another example of some boudoir shots, all right, very nice. And then, of course, you can see that right now I currently only have one spot. Only have one spot left. My max is to be 7, because usually what I'll do is I'll have the event and I'll do it for one day, and then I'll have people come in 30 minutes at a time. And surprisingly, that's been working out pretty good. People haven't been really needing the whole 2 hours. If they decide they want that for themselves, then they do book it. But for the most part, people have been coming in for them 30 minutes. They do what they need to do, get a bunch of shots, and they're gone. And in that 30 minutes, I'm giving you guys 5 of my best unedited shots for this last $75 shoot. And that's really what the cost of the whole entire shoot is. So for $75, you go to 30 minutes with me. That's unlimited poses. As many poses as we can get into them 30 minutes. And because we're going to be at an executive suite, you can also utilize the room. So that'll be you we can use either the windows, we can use the bed, we can use the couch, we can even use the bathroom, and just get as many shots as we possibly can to make it really work. And then you get your 5 best unedited JPEGs. You're not gonna get raw. You're gonna get JPEGs. So as you guys saw at the beginning of this video on how what the JPEGs look like, they have all the color and the lighting and stuff appropriately in there. But if there needs to be any extra edits, there will be a charge for it. And I do talk about this in another video of how you can actually utilize this method to increase your upcharge and your upselling, right? So if you decide you want more pictures, there's a charge for that. If you decide that you want the pictures that you receive to be edited, there's a charge for that. Some people is like, just give me what I need for my 75 and I'm good. And that works for me, right? So 7 people I am gonna be maxed out at for this particular day. I'm having a shoot for about 4 hours, and they just come in 30 minutes a piece. We do our thing. I have shots examples for them already. Like I can actually go through and show you guys that real quick. All right, so this is I have on Pinterest right now. So if I go to here, I actually have these are all the ideas that I have at this moment. All right, these are my saves. So this is what I would have my clients go through, and they're studying them now because I get already set this out to them, and I also will be studying them myself, and I'll also be creating a promo reel so that way this is out before the shoot. So I may have this out by, say for example, over the weekend, maybe no later than Monday, just so that way this is going to show them what to expect, what they're going to look like with these different types of shots ultimately. And this is a great idea. For example, if you're a photographer starting out and you want to get into different types of photography, this would be a great way to be able to lock in some ideas through Pinterest, save the pins that you really like. You know, if you like this picture, you can go ahead and obviously click the 3 buttons at the bottom. You can say add to collage. It'll actually say add to pin when you get there, but I'm going to show you how to really add. Let's see. No. Okay, hold on. No. All right, so it's not going to do it now because, I guess because I'm okay. Finally found a way to go back. So now, say for example, I go here and just type in, let's say boudoir, right? And you'll see these different shots. Like this one's nice, right? And then what I'll do here is go to these 3 buttons, and I think I already have this. Okay, so I don't go to the 3 buttons. I click save, and then I go to sensual boudoir poses. This one's a nice one, right? Different angles. As you can see, that's a nice one as well. So I can keep adding these to this list, and I'll send to my clients, and they'll see the updates as well. They'll be like, oh, that's nice. That's cute. I like that. We can play with it, right? So this gives them a lot of different options. It makes them more confident to know that they have things they can actually utilize, what they can go off of. So that way they're not feeling as if I am just winging it, right? I definitely don't want that. I want it to be an experience. So this will be an idea, and it actually be very great for future shoots if you decide to. Like even something like this is nice. A lot of different things you can do, right? And then of course you'll find out along the way what really works the best for you. Like keep in mind this could be a really good shots just because of the fact it's up against the bed. We got the bed executive suite. It's a king size bed there, and of course make sure if they're up against the natural lighting, I can have that there as well. If I want to have the back lighting, I can do I can do that or create that illusion that light is lit up, and then make them come in a little more, and then I can just angle it to where it just shows them that way. And I may do it to where they can see their feet, for example, but that's just an example. Okay, so you can do whatever that you want to do with these. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with these, but ultimately having different options for yourself and your clients is going to be the most beneficial for you. All right, and that is ultimately what I have for you guys now. All right, so that's pretty much what I got for the end of this evening. I think, did this video ever download? Did it finish downloading? it finally finished downloading, but I'm not finna edit it now. I'm gonna do that later. So, but I'm glad I was able to at least get you guys to see that, and I will create another video specifically of this, just so that way you guys can see how to go about how editing your own videos. But definitely play around with editing. Like, do not be afraid to just mess things up. As you guys know, this is what I do. I like to get on here and mess things up just because I don't want me myself to feel the pressure, and I also don't want you guys to feel the pressure. So if you just get a chance, get on your laptop, get on your phone, download your apps, right, and just start playing around with some stuff and see what works, what doesn't work. But ultimately, you'll get better the more you do it. And I will definitely say that because I wasn't always the best at video editing, and now it's one of my favorite things to do. It's time consuming, but the benefits from it are so amazing. It's the money, obviously, and it's the talent, and it's the experience over time, because I can show these people and they say, oh, okay, so they know for a fact that I know how to edit. They know for a fact that I can put some events together. They know for a fact that I can film something and it'll gravitate to their attention and give even their followers something to look at. All right, so definitely try these things out. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have any questions for me, you have any tips, let me know. I definitely gotta make sure I do better with my call to action at the beginning of these videos. But so I gotta add it at the beginning, and then of course have you guys also repeat it at the end. But if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel and leave me some comments at the bottom. Share with a friend who needs to see this. Maybe they also need an idea of what to do, and also feel like they're not going crazy either, because even with somebody like myself, I can always still learn more. But I thank you guys for tuning in and being here and watching me. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you on next Thursday, and we'll see what we're gonna do. It might be marketing, might be photography, but either way, we're gonna make it work.